I'm in disbelief. They did it, and I can't believe they did it. What's up, everybody? So, today the first teaser trailer dropped for Michael, the Michael Jackson biopic directed by Antoine Fuqua, starring Jafar Jackson, Michael Jackson's nephew, as Michael Jackson. And wow, this trailer looks absolutely incredible. And I've said this before, it's not difficult to make a trailer look good. But in this particular case, it's it was so difficult for me to wrap my brain around doing a movie about Michael Jackson. He was such a larger than life figure. I was born in 1981, and so my entire life up until he passed away in 2009, Michael Jackson was just ubiquitous. He was everywhere. I mean, he had such an impact on culture and music and art. And that impact was so profound that I never really thought it was a practical thing to turn his life into a movie. Because I guess the main question I kept asking myself whenever I kept hearing about this movie being made is, how do you make a story so big about somebody's just so larger than life? How do you make that grounded enough so that way you can care about the journey of the character and you can, in some instances, even relate? And that just seemed like an impossible task. And I love Anton Fuqua. I think he's just one of the best guys working right now. So even though the mountain he had to climb I thought was just so huge, I figure if somebody can do it, it's Anton Fuqua. He definitely has the chops to do it. But then there was so much of the behind the scenes drama that was happening. The movie was basically done. Like the script was written, they filmed it, they were in the process of post production and all of that until finally somebody who actually read said, hey, this part of the movie that deals with the first accusations from the early 90s, it says here in the contract that if we ever made a movie or anything like that about Michael Jackson, that we're not allowed to include it. So they had to re-edit the movie, reshoot scenes, rewrite the script, and it just it just sounded like a disaster. Then came the news that, all right, it's going to be two films and they're going to make the second one if the first one does well. And the first one is basically a little bit of his childhood in the Jackson 5 and then his solo career up until the Bad era. So all the way up until the late 90s, late 80s, excuse me. And so I was like, okay, that's a pretty good run, like right up until his ascension into superstardom. And, we'll see how it will evolve, in the 90s and early 2000s when he passed away, if they actually end up doing it. And, but wow, like everything looks incredible. Jafar Jackson, bless you, bro. This is his first movie, and he really does seem to have the presence of his uncle. Everything from his movement, it seems from the trailer, he's got about like maybe 90% of it, which is way more than anybody can ever really replicate. The voice is also there. I don't know if they dubbed it or used some modifications, but it really sounds exactly like Michael Jackson. And it seems like they really were able to capture the grandness. Like there's this great shot of a stadium, a filled stadium, and then Michael is, walking to the stage, and it's like, okay, how big? Because I don't think people really understand how big Michael Jackson was, as a phenomenon. And then you have these very quiet and chill moments when he's in the studio with Quincy Jones, the guy who produced his first three albums. It really seems like they were able to capture, these more intimate moments with these just gigantic moments in Michael Jackson's life. I look forward to the official trailer that's, gives us a little bit more footage, maybe a little bit more about, the trajectory of the story and the performances and whatnot. But so far, my jaw was on the ground. I think I watched this trailer maybe 12 times by now. And I'm probably going to watch it more after I finish making this video. Anyways, if you guys have seen it, or what are your thoughts on this album, on this movie coming out, let me know in the comments below. Smash that like button, give me a follow, and I'll see you guys next time.